Oh, here we are with the sun again. Hi. Now it's Tuesday afternoon at 4:12. I have been off for an hour and 12 minutes, and she's still asleep. I finished the other video. Now I'm starting on video 2 after she stared at me and wanted me to hold her all day and wouldn't just lay down and go to sleep. I mean, she did sleep in the morning before the walk, but after the walk, nope. Should have stood and stared. Anyway, this is going to pick up where I left off when I was singing Walking on Sunshine, and then we will continue from there. So, welcome to part 2 of today's bundled up video. And now, walking on sunshine. Hey, I don't know who's yelling. Do y'all hear people yelling? By the way, a lot of people mentioned the sirens yesterday. Sadly, I didn't even notice them until I listened to the video because we hear them so much. You remember watching TV shows that were based in, like, I don't know, New York or something, and you heard sirens all the time? And I don't know if y'all ever saw anything like that, but I always thought, man, that's scary to have sirens all the time. And now here I am, living it. I'm living that life, hearing sirens all the time, and I'm just like, nah, okay, there's another siren. I mean, after, like I said, when I listened to the video again to edit it, I was like, wow, that was a lot of sirens. But as I've said, it's a pretty big county anyway, and I think there's almost 800,000 people documented living in this county. I emphasize the word documented because who knows how many people do not fill out the census things. You know what I'm saying? By the way, have y'all ever looked up like your family members and seen the census forms list from way back? They're pretty cool. I found one for my grandfather. We didn't know a lot about his family. He was born in 1898. His mom died. I think he was very young. And then I think his dad died when he was still pretty much a kid, maybe 12-ish. And he had a sister to die. So it was just him and another sister. She moved to Atlanta, and he was a hobo. He rode trains and stuff, and he would go into little towns to, I don't know, what was that stuff from I Love Lucy? Oh, that's cold. Okay, that's cold. Let's just cover up the eyeballs too, because that was cold. Let me go look it up. Hold on. Oh, I can't. Hold on. Okay, so what I was trying to think of, it's called Vitameatavegamin. Vitameatavegamin. And it was vitamins, meat, vegetables, and minerals all in this liquid that she was drinking, but she didn't know that it also contained alcohol, so they kept having to redo the commercial, and she kept trying to say Vitameatavegamin, and she was getting more and more intoxicated the more and more she drank, and she was having trouble saying it. Anyway, that was a great episode. But my pawpaw being a hobo, and he would go from town to town to town, and he would just pick up odd jobs, I thought, wonder if he ever did that, you know, where they just, I don't know, tried to sell things like this. They had a little thing they pushed around. I don't know. That's just what popped in my head. But he did all that. He just traveled around, and I don't know how far he went from where he was from, which is Rome, Georgia. But when he was 16, he lied about his age, and he joined the military and went straight off to fight World War I. But he didn't have anywhere to live, and everybody was gone except for Minnie, who had moved to Atlanta. So, yeah, he joined the military. Cool story, huh? Anywho, that was the rest of that story. You okay? Huh? She's sleeping. I'll be back later, okay? Okay. Hi. And now, here we are after 5 o'clock, walking again. This is our second walk. I opened the back door for both of them, the cat and the dog, because they were both standing there, thinking they wanted to go outside. So I opened the back door, and that cold blast came in the door, and both of them took off running the other direction. I was like, well, my plan was to see if she would go out back and do her business, you know, she wouldn't. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just go take a walk then. I'll make you go outside and do your business, ma'am. Yeah, my dad just told me a joke. He said, why do you think people, homeless people or anyone outside, stand in a corner? Uh-oh, I'm hung up. Stand in a corner to get warm. Because it's 90 degrees. You know, corner, 90-degree angles. Yeah, it's 90 degrees. I busted out laughing when he told me. And he said, oh, you got it. I said, well, of course I got it. He said, well, this guy, my dad feeds the homeless at the church. And he said, this guy came in and told the joke. And he said, I was the only one that laughed. And the guy said, well, I'm glad at least one of you got it. I said, no, I get it. I'm good about getting jokes. Oh, hey, even if I don't get a joke, I'm going to laugh about it. That's what I did when I was young and I didn't understand a lot of the jokes. I just laughed anyway because I didn't want them to know that I didn't know what they were talking about. And then I would go ask somebody or try to figure it out on my own. Speaking of figuring it out on my own, when I was little, young, not little, but younger, maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that, my mom had a medical book. It was big old thick. I think it was, I don't know, was it red? I don't know. It wasn't the pill book, it was just a medical book. And it talked about every kind of disease that you can think of, and it had pictures. So I would sit and read this book and look at all the pictures. But the funny thing to me is all the pictures, I mean, it had naked men and naked women, and it was showing all the different things that, you know, different parts of the body that encounter things and things like that, you know what I'm saying? So, to hide the identity, I suppose, of the person who they were taking a picture of, they put tiny little black dots over their eyeballs. Yeah, that's how they hid who they were. It's just tiny little black dots over their eyeballs. Everything else was completely nude. That's how I got my education on medical stuff. Yeah. When I was super young, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but then I wanted to be a nurse. But then I went into law enforcement. I went for the big bucks. Not. But I'm glad I went where I went. I'm glad I worked where I worked. I don't know. Oh, my phone's ringing. I'll be back. Hi, now we're at home, warm, and making chili. Well, Penny's not warm because she asked to go back outside, even though we had just come in a few minutes before that, and I was like, it's still cold. And I let her out, and I came back over here working on the chili, and I looked over there, and she was standing at the door shaking. I think she was out there a total of about 3 minutes, so, yeah. I don't know why she wanted to go back out there, but somebody asked me to show you how I make my chili. It's nothing fancy. So I brown the ground beef with like a white or yellow onion and maybe a half a bell pepper. I don't like a lot of bell pepper. And then I use this Carol Shelby's chili kit. I do not like it super hot, so I don't put the cayenne pepper. You know the cayenne pepper? So I brown that with the onions and the bell peppers, and then I add this to it. I get all that seasoned up. I know I could do it in my Instant Pot, but I'm just used to doing it that way. I haven't tried it in the new pot yet. So now I thought I had kidney beans, but I don't, so I'm gonna use black beans, and I'm gonna wrench them real good, and I'm gonna put a can of tomato paste, and then I put a box of chicken stock. I always use chicken stock instead of water, or I don't like stewed tomatoes or canned tomatoes either. So this is all the tomato I put in mine with the chicken broth. So stand by. Black beans are going everywhere. Hold on. I'm trying to rinse it and they're falling out. Okay. Dump in 1 can of black beans. And then I'm going to open this can of tomato paste.
All right, this can is not holding up so well. I'm damaging the can with my handy dandy thingy thing. Can opener, that's what it's called, Tracy. Can opener. Okay, well, yes, well. I don't know what to do here because it won't. I'm probably going to end up with tomato paste all over me. I've never had a problem with this can opener. Like, never. It's a Pampered Chef can opener. And I have opened these little bitty cans before. So I don't know. It just clamps on like that. I could even get half of that thing to turn loose. And then it's got these pinky things on the other side. Okay.
There we go. Okay. Gotta have a mini spatula. And the video I watched to know how to cook it in the pressure cooker, like how long, said 20 minutes. And it said to leave the tomatoes and the beans on top or they will burn. And I sprayed the bottom of it with just some Pam type stuff. I love cooking with a pressure cooker because it cooks it so much faster. So much faster, and it locks in the flavor. Alrighty, well that's good enough, right? Okay, so now we're just gonna, now we're just gonna, and I'm just going to put, so the, my tomato stuff was sitting clumped up right on top. So I just kind of pushed it down in there, just so it's not hanging out on top. I already have my pressure cooker. I have the vent thing closed, the steamer thing closed. So now she said pressure cook. It's on high. She said for 20 minutes and hit start. So it will take about 10 minutes to heat up, and then it will switch to the steam, the slow release. So I should have chili in about 30 minutes. And it's 6 o'clock, so that'll be perfect.
Okay, so now we are on the keep warm. So it has finished cooking. It has these little, this is the preheat, this is the cooking, and then when it gets past that little dot, then it goes to the keep warm. So at that point, we can take a cloth and kick that steam buddy thing back. And then it starts releasing. And I try to turn it away from my cabinets so that it doesn't steam up my cabinets. Y'all just ignore all that mess, okay? Like a plant my sister got me. Let me put it up there. It doesn't have to be watered, and it'll bloom. How cool is that? Look, that's where I'm brushing my teeth because of my sink. Okay, I hope y'all caught that. It said do not open lid, and then it quickly went to okay to open lid. So we just take this and we turn it and we take it off and we steam up we steam up our camera, and there is our chili. A whole entire pot of chili in 30 minutes plus the cook time for the meat. Now, I did not put the masa powder in there, and I usually do cook it down to where it's not this thin, but I don't mind it being thin. But I just don't use the masa powder, and I don't care. I'm not going to use anything to thicken it up because I'm okay with it being soupy. And then tomorrow I am going to make the cornbread to go with it. And it'll continue to thicken up as it sits. It usually does.
All right, I just ate me a big old bowl of chili, and it was delicious. It had a nice spice to it without being too hot. So if you want to try it, they sell that Carol Shelby's at my Publix, probably any grocery store. And if you want to add onions, bell pepper, however much you want to add, it has directions on the back of the box, but I just kind of do my own thing. And it comes with the masa powder if you would like to put it in your chili to thicken it up, but I do not. I like it this way. So anyway, that's it for this one. Remember, I love you. Jesus loves you. I hope he's coming back soon because people will be crazy and it is cold. And I will talk to you tomorrow on the next Tracy Tries. Okay? Okay, goodbye.